Welcome back to Be For Real, the podcast. This is episode 5, and we're going to call this one The Open Door of Grief. I am your hostess with the mostest, Destiny. And, okay, can we run it back and address that we're consistent, okay? We are consistent. Okay, now listen, we may not be frequent, but we are consistent because this is episode 5. Okay, I didn't even think I would see episode 3 for real. So, kudos to your girl because, listen, ooh, Jesus, life has been lifing. Life has been lifing. Listen, life been lifing since I started the podcast, huh? Really since before then. But I started this podcast because it is very therapeutic. And I wanted to be for real with y'all. I wanted to keep it a book about just life in general. I think so much of the time we're on like social media and we want to portray like these lives that we don't necessarily live. People may have the money for the trips or, to do cute girly things and girls' nights and outings and things of that nature. But deep down, people are hurting. People are in pain. People are depressed. And there's no amount of money and there's no amount of exposure, to the world that can seal that wound, that can heal that wound. And so social media is such a band-aid, and Be For Real, the podcast is truly for the authentic. This is truly where realness meets authenticity. And just to let you know, we believe in the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ over here. So we don't run from him, we run to him, okay? All right, so I just wanted to give you a little backstory in case you're new here. We believe in Jesus real bad, and we're doing life with him, and we're doing life for him. So that's why we're here. We're here to share the authentic message of Jesus Christ through our lives. And right now it's just me, but we're gonna see about guests coming soon. Some guests coming soon. But we over here we gonna be for real. Cause if you gonna be anything, if you gonna be anything, be for real. Okay? Period. So let's get into the episode. Like I said, a whole lot of life. Like I haven't said this on other episodes, but a whole lot of life has been happening, and I truly believe that I have been in a state of grief for well over a year now. And I didn't realize it, maybe 2 years actually. Didn't realize it until the most recent happening, the most recent event. I just lost my cousin, my favorite cousin, Justin, to suicide. And I won't get into the details of his death or anything like that because the Lord has given me peace about everything, like everything. But his death has really opened a door for me. A door that's, well, let me take you back. So, you know how like you'll go to sleep at night, or when you were a kid, you would go to sleep at night and your mom would crack the door a little bit so that there would be a little light shining into your room. I think that with me, the door's been cracked for so long that I didn't even know that there was a little bit of, I knew that there was a little bit of light coming in, but I didn't even realize how much darkness I was really settled in. And I say darkness pertaining to grief, like, so I didn't know. And I think with my cousin's death, that opened the door wide open. Enough for a different type of light to come into the room. And so I didn't plan on crying on this episode. But we're going to shed some tears because we're going to be for real about it all. And if we're going to be for real, you got to shed tears. You got to shed tears. I think that my cousin's death definitely opened the door of grief completely. Where the door was cracked. From past experiences. So just to name a few, I'm still like, healing is a journey. Let's talk about healing, okay? Healing is a journey, and it's not anywhere that you arrive to. Healing doesn't have a destination. It is an endless journey, and you have to continuously do the work to remain in a state of healing. So, a lot of people know, a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know. But when I was pregnant with my baby is now 6, Dakota. I found out that her dad had a baby on me. And the other girl was pregnant at the same time that I was pregnant. So that's something that I have to continuously heal from. There are other details to the story. We'll get into them on another episode. They're not for this episode. But that is something that I have to continuously and perpetually heal from over and over again. On top of that, during that same year, my mom was in a domestic violence relationship with my dad. A lot of things happened within our family, and anybody who's knows that I had a wonderful relationship with my dad. But when all of this happened, it left a really bad taste in my mouth about my dad. And so we ended up like mending the relationship, going to therapy, doing therapy sessions, things of that nature. And I haven't talked to my dad since August of 2022, and it's now August of 2024. And so I think I've definitely been grieving that. I have also just been grieving like past lifestyle, because when you accept Christ, you have to do away with old things. The word says that when you become a new creature. Like all old things have passed away and you become a new creature. So I think sometimes I grieve my old lifestyle because there was comfort there. And there weren't really any, like, I didn't have not care. Like, it wasn't like that I didn't care, but there was just so much more comfort. And of course, the enemy makes it that way. He makes sin more comforting than sanctification. And it's just the truth, okay? I'm just being for real, okay? I can't even say I'm being honest. I'm being for real. So, I think I grieve my old lifestyle. I think I grieve life before I had a child. I think I have grieved, I started my entrepreneurship journey in June of 2023. And now it's August of 2024, and life has been really crazy for me. I won't say hell, but it's been really crazy for me. I've experienced so many ups and downs. I have been at the very bottom financially. And I think I grieve like having an actual job. I grieve working in corporate. I grieve having a consistent check coming in. Like with entrepreneurship, you don't know when your next penny is coming. And I think that I just grieve that lifestyle. What else? Oh, Jesus. I have also, this is very freeing. I have also grieved just being in a healthy relationship. I think that when I was in a relationship with my daughter's dad, that was probably one of the healthiest relationships I was in, and it didn't end up in a great place because we're not together. So I think I grieve healthy relationship, like not platonic but romantic relationship. Do I desire marriage? Yes. But I think that over time I've been able to acquire a certain level of contentment in the Lord, that if I get married, cool. If I don't, cool, you know. But I think I still grieve that space. And that, I don't know what to say. I think I still grieve, the love that was there, the presence, just the times and the friendship and stuff like that. So not the person now, but I do grieve having romanticism in my life. But anyway, let me move forward. This door, that my cousin bursted wide open. Okay, he literally kicked the door wide open with this, and I think that it was in a good way. Like, I did have to speak at his funeral. His funeral was just this past weekend, and I believe that his death was not in vain, and God will still get the glory from his story and from his legacy. And so it kicked the door wide open so that the light of the Lord can shine bright in the room that I'm currently in. Because, baby, this room has been dark for a little minute, and I don't think I've acknowledged that, or I think I've just been going with the motions so much to the point where I haven't even paid any attention to the fact that I've just been going and going and going and going. And the door of grief has been open. I knew that there were things that I was grieving, but I never paid them any mind. I never acknowledged them because the door's been cracked. But my cousin kicked this door wide open. So the Lord has really given me a whole lot of revelation about everything, like about my cousin's death, about life, about just my purpose, why I'm here, what I got going on, what my situation is, my circumstances, how I've grown, how I've developed, how I've just everything. He's just given me, my mind has been open to so much. And I hate that it had to take death for this to happen. I hate that my cousin doesn't get an opportunity to be here and witness the amount of growth and the amount of love that people are showing each other, and the amount of impact that his life is making. But glory be to God. That's it. That's all I can keep saying. Glory be to God that he's not even here. His spirit is not here. The word says that the dead don't know what the living are doing. So he doesn't even know what's going on, but he's still making an impact. And so I think that, I'm grateful that this door has been opened. in a larger capacity, because now I can approach my grief from, and it could have been the intentionality of God for me to not be exposed to a certain level of light in the season that I'm in, because I may not have known how to steward it properly. But I truly believe that I'm on the brink of breakthrough, and I'm on the edge of something so spectacular that the Lord allowed. Ooh, Jesus. I know it says in the word that God will bring forth calamity. He will also bring forth joy. But that just displays and defines the sovereignty of God. The Lord would allow such a thing to happen within our family, for there to be, and we see it throughout the Bible, but for there to be healing brought forth, for there to be acknowledgement of sin brought forth, for there to be repentance brought forth, for there to be growth brought forth, for there to be so many different aspects that are brought to the light. And to think that God is that intentional, that he would wait, he would only give me a little bit at a time. And this would kick the door wide open. This would kick the door wide open for me to be exposed to a new level of his grace, a new level of his love, a new level of his healing, a new level of his mercy. And I'll give y'all a little backstory about God's mercy, because he definitely had me studying it the week that my cousin passed away. I can't wait to go more in detail about all of this, but and I may do that on the next episode. So I may actually bring some frequency to the consistency, so that I can get out my thoughts and get out the revelation that God has blessed me with as it pertains to my cousin being gone. But the week that my cousin passed away, I found myself studying the word mercy. Now, some of y'all may have seen clips on social media where I spoke about the word mercy. I have started doing these things called Word of the Week with Webster. My last name is Webster, so it's fitting. But, hold on, quick break. So I'm drinking my water out of my Be For Real cup, okay? I'm drinking my water out of my Be For Real cup. So if you want one, get at your girl. But anyway, so I started doing these things called Word of the Week, these segments on social media. Word of the Week with Webster. My first word was supposed to be forgiveness. I started writing about forgiveness at 4:30 a.m. the morning that my cousin passed away. And literally the Lord gave me mercy, which is a synonym for forgiveness. He gave me mercy that Tuesday after he passed away. He passed away on a Sunday. And so I started studying the word mercy, and it brought me obviously to the verse in Lamentations 3 that says, his mercies are new every morning and they never cease, right? Cool. If you're a believer, you know this already. When we wake up, we getting it new every morning. But the Lord led me also to Nehemiah 9. And in Nehemiah 9, it just talks about how the Israelites, they was cutting the rug, okay? And they went into worship, went into repentance, and the Lord granted them mercy, right? Cool. That's not why I brought that up. So there was so much revelation in that alone, because when I started to like define the word mercy and like really like break down, I'm a word girl. It's no coincidence that my last name is Webster. I'm a word girl. I may not be able to articulate well, but I definitely know how to write. So I love to write, and I just started writing notes, started writing, and I'm a diagrams girl. Like, I like to write diagrams. I like to write things out in a visual so that I can understand what it is that, you know, I'm up against. Cool. But yeah, at the end of the day, God's sovereignty trumps your choice. And regardless of what you choose, there is still mercy to be given. Now, us choosing to obey the will of God would be us living a life of fulfillment. But us choosing to live or to disobey God it robs us. It forfeits our opportunity to live in freedom. And it guides us more into a life of pleasure, which is only momentary. But the life of fulfillment gives you freedom. And so, I'm not gonna lie, that thing tore me down, okay? Tore me down. Excuse me, but I truly believe that in all of this, in all of it, we're meant to grow in faith, we're meant to grow in stature, we're meant to grow in power and authority. And we can't do that without a yes. We can't do that without a yes. And I think that my cousin's death has truly caused me to give God. I gave him like a yeah. Yeah, I'll do that. All right. Like I gave him that. But I need to give him a full, complete YES. A yes. And my cousin's death has shifted my perspective so much that I will never, I pray I never, I want to cry. I want to like just bawl my eyes out. I want to never take the mercy of God for granted again. Because that's where we find ourselves. That's when we find ourselves in a state of complacency. And I do not want to be in a state of complacency. Because complacency lands you in position for things that you're not ready for, or that you don't foresee coming or happening, like premature death. So I don't want to be in a space where I'm choosing my comfort over my fulfillment in God. I don't. And so this open door of grief has really given me a fresh perspective. It has given me a new peace, new grace, a new voice. And it's so crazy because the morning that my cousin passed away, I woke up at 4:30 that morning, and I started writing about forgiveness. And I literally said, and some of you who may be watching this can attest to this, I put it even on my close friends on Instagram, that I was not allowing the enemy to muzzle me anymore. And over the last couple of weeks, I've kind of just been asking myself, was it the enemy or was it me? Like, I muzzled myself because of fear. I muzzled myself because of rejection. I muzzled myself because of laziness. I muzzled myself because of all of these things, because I took the mercy of God for granted. And it's only by His mercy that I'm even able to speak. It's only by His mercy that I'm even able to do this. So, what's tea? What am I doing? And it's not by happenstance that when my cousin did this, when he left this earth, that this kicked that door of grief wide open. So I just want to challenge y'all to address your stuff. Address your stuff. Address your stuff. If that means going to therapy, if that means going to, I don't know, going to therapy, going to your pastor, being a part of a community, a discipleship group, a mentorship group, anything, get it in your word, whatever that means for you, address your stuff and communicate it. Communicate it. Get it out. Write it down. Write a book. Do something, but get it out. Because your grief does not deserve to live in darkness forever. And mine did. It was in darkness for a mighty long time. However, my cousin kicked that door wide open. There's no more cracks in the door. And I'm able to give God a clear yes, a concise yes, a real, genuine yes. And I'm glad about it. I'm glad about it. I'm glad that God was intentional enough about me to withhold the punishment that grief could have even had on me. Because, truth be told, I could have been gone a long time ago. And I know a lot of churchy people use that saying, but I'm saying this from a place of realness. I would not be talking on this podcast had God not been intentional about me and given me mercy. So open the door to your grief. Open the door to your grief. Open the door to the things that you've been holding hostage, that you've been allowing to live in the darkness because you don't necessarily want to expose them or address them. And do that. Because what you address, the enemy can't shame. The enemy cannot shame what you have addressed and what you have spoken about. So This has been episode 5 of Be For Real the podcast, Open Door of Grief. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, if you're going to be anything, be for real.